Welcome to this video. In this video, we continue with the series of videos about processing of water, and that is manufacturing as well as distribution. And this particular video, I'm going to talk about the manufacturing module. Now, this module works in tandem with the inventory, the purchase module, the sales and accounting module, and of course, the stocks. So first, you recall that we had our 1 liter of water product that we had created, and that product had bill of materials. And in the bill of materials, we were just mentioning what components that make this product, one liter water. And we mentioned the quantity, the product itself. Then we also mentioned routing, and we said routing is just the water, the process through which, or the stages of production for us to get an end product of the 1 liter water. Then the components of the water production. So we have water, preform, plastic rolls, bottle caps, and the label. So these are all components that are used to produce a full product of 1 liter water in the end. So we shall have the bottle, we have water inside, we have the lid, we the bottle cap, we have the labels, then also we shall have the wrap and everything. So in the bill of materials, what we did not mention in the previous videos is the byproduct. So here we can set, if we are producing 1 liter of water, what are the byproducts that come from it? It might be pieces of the remaining labels. It might be some part of the preform, or any byproducts or scrap material that will be produced can be added here. Also, something we did not mention was on the bill of materials, we can already see the structure cost of production. So here we see clearly 1 liter water. This is the bill of materials. These are the components that it will consume, and these are the quantities. And if you have added the cost price, then you'll also have the cost price there updated. Apart from the bill of materials, we also now have the operations on this lower section. So we also saw the work centers and the routing on our previous video. So here, you'll now see the exact routing. So for us to produce this one water, it will have to go through filtration, purification, and packaging. And we can also set the number of minutes based on these specific work centers. So it means if I am producing water, then it goes through 3 stages: filtration, purification, and packaging. Each stage will have a work center where it is happening, maybe a different room or a different section of the room, or in a specific machine. And apart from that, we shall have the production procedure for each work order, and each work order will be assigned to a work center operator, can be an employee or an engineer, plus the instructions and the shift. And that is how the system puts everything together. And on this section, you can add the quantities, and the system will automatically do the math for you and show and see. If I am to produce 5 pieces, is it more economical as compared to 10 pieces or compared to a dozen, based on that? Okay. So that is the extensive bill of materials setup for that product. So once we have that, in the previous video, we had our purchase module bringing in some of these products. And once we go to the locations, we can already see in our current location, we can already see we have products in our location. So we have the water itself. Okay, the 1 liter water itself, we have 8 units. So once we produce, you'll see that these units will increase. We have the labels, we have the bottle caps, we have the preform. So it means we are now ready to do a proper production since we have the raw materials in our stock. Now let's go to the manufacturing module itself. In the manufacturing module, again, I will just repeat for clarification's sake. Once we go to the routings, we've said the routings is the process through which the finished product is produced. And on the routing, we have the operations which involve the work centers. Then we also have the time analysis. So with the time analysis, we can be able to schedule all our production and know when is best to produce and how is it best to produce. So if we are doing shift management, we can be able to know by end of every shift how much we need to have produced if everyone is working well, plus all the machines are working well. Apart from that, then we have the work centers, just as a recap of it. And then the work centers, we have the working hours. And these working hours are the ones that will match our shift of our employees to the when doing the production. Okay, so after having our products, bill of materials, routes, and work centers, we are finally ready to do our production. And in the production, first we have the overview. Overview just shows, work center overview just shows all the work centers and orders that have been planned that are running on each work order. So the work order could be considered as a machine or an area specific for set aside for specific tasks, maybe filtration, packaging, purification, etc. So let us create our manufacturing order. We create a manufacturing order and say we want to produce 1 liter of water and we want to produce 10 pieces of them. So automatically the system knows the 1 liter bill of water uses the 1 liter bill of material using this water processing route that we had configured. And we can set who is responsible. And also we can set which shift is it scheduled in. So on every shift, we can schedule manufacturing orders and they can still overlap to other shifts. And that is how we shall track the shifts on the manufacturing order. So we save this manufacturing order. Once we save it, the system automatically checks the bill of materials and populates the consumed materials section here. So for us to produce these 10, we need 10 preform grams. We need bottle caps, 10 of them. We need labels and so on. The system will show what is consumed, what is reserved, and what is to be consumed. By default, the system will ask you to check if these quantities are available in our store. So we have seen they're available. So once I click check availability, they'll turn from red to black just to show that everything is in stock and it is ready to be produced. So the next step will be creating work orders. And as we have mentioned, every work center will have a work order. And those work orders, completion of those work orders equals to the completion of the production. So we have the 3 work orders. We open the work orders and we will see the work orders are arranged based on our routing. So the first one, which is red, is filtration. So the system expects that we are starting with filtration and we shall record the finished products of our filtration. And in that work order, we can be able to update our work instructions for our engineers and what they need to do. It can be a PDF or a video. Current production, we shall see 10 quantities that are being produced. Time tracking, how long are they being produced? And it is real time. So if it was planned maybe for 5 hours and the real count goes to 7 hours, we can see the level of efficiency of our production based on the work center and the people. Then miscellaneous is just the related documents to it. So once we have created this, if you go back to our overview part, you'll be able to see that we have work orders on every section. And on the filtration, which is really active to be started, it asks you to launch that work order for you to be able to run it. So I can be able to run it and say start working. So it will start, the work order will be in progress. The physical production has already started on that particular part. As you start, you do the physical starting of production, it starts counts the minutes, which converts into hours, which converts into maybe days if the production is so long. Then once you finish, you record what you have done, what you have completed here, current quantity. So if you had planned for 10 and maybe you produce only 8, then you record 8. If not so, if you have produced everything, you just set it as done. You can pause it, you can continue production, or you can scrap it. So if a certain batch of production was spoiled for whatever reason, you can scrap it and it will go to the loss section of production. So that is how you will produce for each and every item, and you will see the efficiency of that production in terms of the percentage. Once that is done, then you'll see the next item that is to be processed, which is purification. You can launch it, and the process continues like that to the end. In case a shift change, we have a shift change of people, we can just come and update on our work orders what has changed and who is running what exactly on the specific work order. So in a case like this, we can edit it. We can add time tracking here in case several people are doing the item production. If there is any loss, then we can set a loss reason here. Maybe the equipment failed, maybe the material was not available, maybe there was a process defect, and so on. So you say you can give a reason here. Maybe this happened, save and close. You can start working. You can produce. So you can record each and everything there, and also you can block a production in case a material has failed, or in case maybe someone is sick or someone is injured. All that information is captured here. So for this small presentation, I'll just process everything and we see what the end products looks like. So on every part on the dashboard, we'll always see work orders that have been completed and the ones that are ready to be worked on. I'll start working on this one, then I'll click on done. So once all work orders are done, like in this case, all of them are finished. If I go back to the original manufacturing order, now the button to set as done, mark as done is active. And we now have all our consumed parts, green, meaning they have been moved, they have been consumed. And the finished product also shows that 10 units of 1 liter water have been produced. And we have seen if not all of them have been produced on the work orders, we can already set how many were did not produce and under which stage did they not produce. At the end, we shall mark it as done. Once we mark it as done, it will do all the other items. So here several things happen. If we have scrap, it will move the scrap material to the scrap location. If we have byproducts, the same. It will move the materials to the byproducts. The finished goods will move to the finished good location, which is our main stock. It will reduce stock from our main stock because it has been consumed in the process of production. At the end of our production, we can see the stock moves, and this is now what I've just been mentioning. We will see that 1 liter water has moved from our production unit to our main stock. All the components have moved from our main stock to our production unit, which is actually consumed in the process. At the end of all the process, if you go to the inventory and we look at our locations, we look at our current stock, we will notice that we now have 18 units of 1 liter water. Previously, when the video started, we had only 8. So it means we have added our 10. And you'll notice that the rest have reduced by their proportional amount of quantities that were used in the production. And basically, that's it for production. We can have reports based on the production orders. We can have the reports based on the time ranges, based on the graphs, different graphs that we want. And we can still have measures here, and you can be able to add whatever columns that you want there. You can look at the effectiveness, you can look at the work orders that are being processed in terms of graphs and in terms of tabular form, and in terms of also the status that are there. And yes, we have produced our 1 liter water. Once we go back to our product here, of the 1 liter water, we can be able to see the number of manufactured units so far that we have run in the system. And once you click on it, it will just show you a graph of the production and maybe a list of all the items that were produced during a certain period of time. And basically that's it for production. Now in the next video, we shall look at now stock logistics, moving distribution of our now finished products out. We shall look at the sell orders, we shall look at inventory, and now the transport and also commissions of the agents who are now selling our finished products.